Welcome to an amazing session we've got for you. This is called Growth Mode. It's brought to you by Lofty. It's a virtual summit for teams. It's all about helping you understand the core components to growing and to retaining. And we're going to have a lot of conversations today with amazing high-level individuals, people that run companies, people that run teams. And we're going to see different takes on things, but at the core of everything, you're going to see the same concepts just executed in different ways. And we'll probably switch a couple people here and there, but they're all going to show up. And just do me a favor, please. As you're watching this, I need you to do a few things. Number one, I need you to have your pen, paper, or if you take notes on a computer, have that ready, because a lot of times you're going to watch virtual events. You're going to be part of something great like this, but you're not going to know what to execute on. And so I want you to start taking notes and saying, hey, the first person that talked today, the one thing that I think I can execute based on what they said is this. And the same thing for the next person and then the next person. In fact, that's exactly what I do. I learn a lot from these as well. All right, number two. This is recorded. So when you ask me if it's recorded, it's actually being recorded right now and being played onto the YouTube channel as well. So we're just going to go and edit after, make it clean. It'll be sent out to everyone who's watching. So you're going to get a copy of that as well. And then a third one, bonus, side note, have fun, ask questions, participate. This is for you. This is what we did specifically for you, because I know a lot of teams and brokerages are struggling right now with changes that are happening with the whole real estate market bifurcated. You're either in the south of the United States, parts of the West that are starting to suffer more, a lot of inventory, or you're in the Northeast. It looks like for the most part is still doing quite well. Wherever you are, this will apply to you. We're going to go from all different angles on this. And with that, just a quick intro. I'm Tristan. I'm emceeing this whole thing. I'll be asking questions and listening along with you. I've been in business for 21 years, and I run Lab Code Agents with a few friends and some people on the back end here. This is brought to you by Lofty. So you're going to see us bring up Lofty quite a few times on this, because this made it possible. In fact, they got a lot of these people on here because not only are they Lofty users, but they're a powerhouse. So know that we're going to bring them up. Lofty, for those of you who don't know or have heard a little bit, it used to be Chime, and it switched over to Lofty. There it is. That's the link. It's what I like to call, it's an all-in-one digital platform. It serves not only as your core CRM, as your website, as landing pages, social outlets, AI-driven creation for content and communication with your incoming leads and your database. It really is an all-in-one. It's the best I've seen out there. It's the one we use for our brokerage at Y Realty, and it's the one we use for our team mainly as well. With that, let's see if we've got our friend. We're going to do a switcheroo here. We're going to have Josh come in first, but we're going to have Robert Lucido come in first. He's a longtime friend of mine. He runs a big team with family members. I think you've heard of Robert at this point. He's been buffing out. He's been hitting the weights, so you may not recognize him. So when he pops in, you'll see a nice background. And dude, where are the massive arms, bro? What is this? I need to see the arms.
They're putting away for today.
Oh, you're funny. You're funny. Well, thanks for doing this, man. I see you wearing a Moxie Mortgage shirt. I know you have that company as well. Can you do a quick intro for those listening in? Who are you? What do you do?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Tristan. My name is Robert Lucido. I'm the CSO of Lucido Global, which is our real estate side. And about a year and a half ago, we ventured into the mortgage space as well. At any transaction, what ultimately is exchanged is something of worth for money. And for a lot of times, it comes down to the Benjamin. So we recognize that, especially on the buyer side for our clients, if we could provide more value to them on the mortgage side, it would make us more valuable as providers of real estate services as well. In other words, we help them save on their mortgage. They can afford more house. They can, that house becomes more affordable to them. So that's when we ventured into Moxie Mortgage as well.
Got it, man. I have been seeing it a lot. I've been getting your emails too. So thank you for that. A good question for you, because I'm going to throw a curveball at you before we start. Josh is here. Do you want to interview him with me?
Do I want to interview him?
Yeah.
All right. I've never been an interviewer. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. All right, Josh. Let's bring in Josh. Josh is with Epic, and then we'll go to Rob after. What's up, man? How are you?
What's up? Good. Good to see you, Tristan. Good to see you again, Robert.
Hey, Josh.
We were on a panel like this not too long ago.
Yes, sir.
Dude, what is this amazing background? This is crazy.
Oh, mine? It's not fake. It's real. Just random.
I love this.
I always get asked if it's real, and I'm like, yeah, it's just a collection of my crap, basically. Yeah.
All right, what's your favorite piece from the back?
It's all just, I like dinosaurs. There's a lot of like little dinosaur stuff. I'm into space. I'm a nerd. So all my books on physics. I mean, like, so when I'm not doing real estate, I'm reading about physics, and I read a lot of classics. It's all these. But yeah, it's just all my nerd stuff, man. I got like a DeLorean here. Just random nerd. Look, Robert's a jock, man. He's got all the jock stuff. So you got the jocks here, you got the nerds here. I just got the nerd stuff. So it's cool.
Yeah, Robert's unique. He's like a lot of both. If you've ever heard him speak, the guy like breaks down things, and I'm like, okay, dude, it was crazy. All right, guys, we got Josh Miller from Epic. The topic is retention's the new recruiting. I like that twist on it. I agree with you, Josh. We're going to go over how Epic Realty has grown from 30 agents to 3,000 agents in the matter of, dude, it feels like you guys came out of nowhere, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Where do we start with that when we're talking about retention is the new recruiting?
Yeah. Well, because I think we've all seen kind of the turnstile at brokerages where their whole focus is growth, and that just kind of came out of nowhere, where it's just, all about bringing people in, and it kind of felt like a gold rush for a lot of these, big recruiters. But that's not what we wanted to build. We grew pretty fast. We're around 4,000 agents now. 3,000 was the end of last year. But we, I mean, just a couple of years ago, we had less than 100 agents. I mean, so it's been very, very fast, but we have done nothing really to grow. To me, my idea is that you don't need to focus on growth. If you have the best business model, agents aren't stupid. They're going to join the best model. That's it, period. So your goal really just needs to be create the best thing. If you can create the best thing, you don't have to focus on growth. So our goal is to create the best thing, and retention is a big part of that. It's about creating a place where people want to be. What I noticed at my last brokerage is that if you're trying to recruit someone, the hardest person to recruit is somebody who's happy. Because I've had people, I'm like, wow, I can't believe you're giving away half your commission. I can't believe you're paying so much to be at your brokerage. You should be at this model where everything is capped and everything's easy. And they're like, nah, I'm happy where I'm at. And to me, that really resonated with me, that happy agents, they don't change brokerages. They don't want to leave. They have no problems. Everything's great. Everything works out. And so our goal is really just to keep everybody happy. What do we do to keep people happy? And so that to me is a great retention model. Have the best model and make sure everyone's happy. So that's our focus. We have we do not have a VP of growth. We don't have a growth director. We don't have any of that at all. We don't have a growth committee. We have nothing. I've seen these brokerages kind of pop up recently, and their first hire is a VP of growth. And I'm like, that tells me everything about their logic and mindset, that their first hire is a VP of growth or growth director. But for us, we don't have any of that. But we do have a retention committee and a retention director. And that's all we focus on. It's just like, the question is always like, are people happy? What are they not happy about? How can we fix those things? And then what else can we implement that will make people even happier? So it's not just about fixing problems, coming up with creative ways to keep people happy, to make them happier, to make them sticky and want to stay. And so it's just a totally different mindset than I think that people have had, who are doing recruiting or brokerages who are looking to grow. They're focused on, how do I convince someone to join? Whereas I'm focused on how do I convince people to stay. If they've joined, how do they stay? So all of our growth actually has been organic. This really quick growth that you're talking about that we've had, it's all been organic. We don't have a crazy different approach to recruiting people that other people aren't doing, but we don't have anybody focused on it at all. So it's just been organic.
Got it. That makes sense. So then when it comes to, by the way, I have seen that. So great job on that, the organic growth. When it comes to retention, what are the key components you've seen? Because Robert and I have talked about retention quite a few times and growth. But what have you seen be the key components to retention now that you've been running this for a bit?
Yeah, so most of our attrition has been, because we're scaling rapidly. So it's been to operational inefficiencies, right? That's what happens when you scale. You kind of break things, like the old Mark Zuckerberg quote of, move fast and break shit, So that's what, we've had experience. So as we clean up operations and all that stuff, what really causes people to be sticky is that you're focused on them and not focused on you. I think so many companies, they understand that they're responsible for agents, but they don't think that they're responsible to them. And so they're not focused on agents. And you have to be almost agent obsessed if you want to actually have great retention. You have to be constantly in their face saying, how can I help? What can I do? What else can I do for you? How can I, I tell agents, I still do agent one-on-ones almost every day. I have one-on-ones with agents. And even though we have thousands of agents, I'm still talking to agents all the time, one-on-one. They all have my cell phone number. Every one of our agents gets my cell phone number, and I'm texting them and calling them. And I think that it's just showing up is probably the biggest thing you could possibly do. It's like parenting. The number one thing you could do is be there, right? So all of us kind of showing up. But I tell our agents when I talk to them, it's like, hey, I work for you, not the other way around. Like, what do you need? Like, how can I make things better? Are you happy here? What can I do to make things better? And we all kind of take that servant approach. That was our very first meeting about Epqique before we even had the name Epqique. We didn't know what it was going to be called. But the idea of it was, what would it look like if we worked for the agent instead of the other way around? And so I think that's important to have that mindset. It doesn't matter how you market your company, because there's a lot of companies that are trying to do what we're doing now, and they're trying to add bullet points to their join website, but they're not following through because they don't have this mindset right. It really, we're in real estate, we get it, we understand that if the foundation is messed up, the whole thing's going to be messed up, right? So your foundation, and this is your mindset, right? So we lead with that mindset of this kind of servant idea of how do we just make things better for our agents. So
how do you keep that in front of your leadership team? Because if somebody's listening in, team, independent brokerage, or they're thinking of starting either or, how do you maintain that level of involvement with the agent so that the culture stays there and grows?
Yeah, no, and that's very, very key. So we have something called there's two parts to this. One of them is strategic hiring, making sure you're only promoting people who get the vision. And then the other one is when they show up and they seem like they had the vision, but they didn't, you get rid of them very quickly. We actually have, even for our agents, we have something called the no assholes policy. And it's actually in our ICA. And that's what it's called. And it's funny, when I was bringing it up to our legal team, I said, look, we're going to put this in our ICA. And they're like, seriously? I said, yeah, seriously. And they're like, you want to call it that? I was like, yeah. And so our no assholes policy, they made me define. They said, well, asshole is kind of a general term. Like, we have to define this. So I actually had to define what an asshole was, which I thought was hilarious. But really, an asshole is somebody who is focused primarily on themselves. They're focused on their own ego. They're not serving anyone else other than themselves, that they put themselves before the company and their other agents. And so we really kind of go through that with our leadership team. So we have a very unique system in that we have state brokers and we have this kind of compliance people, but then we have these people called area leaders. Area leaders are local. So if you live in like Asheville, North Carolina, or you live in Boise, Idaho, you have somebody who's a leader there whose whole job, they're being paid by the company, is to mentor, coach, assist, and show up for you. So they show up to you locally. They host local events, sometimes weekly local events. They are calling you directly in a proactive way, not waiting for you to call them with a problem. They're calling you like, hey, what's going on? How can I help? And that's the whole job. And so if we can get the area leaders and the brokers' mindsets right, they will make sure that everything's being supported. The idea is no agent left behind, right? So so we have a lot of grassroots on the ground leaders who are being paid by the company to lead people and to show up for people. So that's it.
I like the area leaders part, Robert. It's like having team leaders inside the team, right? So like leadership all across, so they can sustain this growth and making sure that you are helping out people in their areas. Interesting.
Yeah,
I like that.
to piggyback on what Josh said, I mean, most people in this industry think, okay, I need to make more money, so I need to get bigger, and they put bigger before better, and they end up getting just bloat. Bigger scaling a business is challenging to do for a lot of the reasons Josh said. I mean, it's going to break systems. It's going to increase costs. You're going to have more people and conflicting personalities, especially if you don't maintain that culture rigidly. And so as you scale, if you don't fix your problems just grow. You know, there's this whole adage that like revenue or production solves all problems. I think it's BS. It compounds problems unless you address them. And so, like Josh said, if you focus on better, and you're making an offer that's truly better, people will be attracted to you. People will be attracted to your business, whether it's agents you're recruiting or clients you're attracting.
That's well said, man. Well said. We've got a question for you, Josh. Sarah, good question. From a sustainability perspective, how can Epic Realty continue to grow and offer an abundance of free programs to the agents? Because teams are thinking, okay, how can I continue to offer my team members this and that? I mean, I'm sure independent brokers are thinking the same thing. How do we answer that?
Yeah, and I was just about to reply to her because it's like, I'd love to answer that question. You know what, though? I've heard that question since we had 5 benefits. And I remember people saying, how can you offer all these things? It was 5 things. And now we're at 92. But I've heard that at 5, I've heard it at 10, 15, 20, 30, 50. I mean, so you plan for it, Sarah. It's something we started at the very beginning. We knew we wanted to offer benefits. We didn't know what those benefits would be. And so we had to get the money right. So we met with the accountants and we said, we want to offer benefits. We really don't know what they are. So, you know, what can we afford to spend? And they give us a budget, and it's like a per agent per month kind of budget. And, you know, this is what you need to charge. This is what you can spend. And so we basically been filling in that budget. How much is this new benefit? Does it fit in our budget? And so we're kind of building up to fill it in. So when someone sees us add a new benefit, I think they think that we have a new line item. They're like, how are they absorbing? Like, we just introduced childcare, right? So now we're like watching people's kids for them, right? So we have free childcare, student tutoring, elder care. But I think people see that as a new expense, but it's actually not a new expense. We're just allocating a pre-existing expense. So we like to say it's like building it right the first time, right? So we start off with how much can we spend, and then we just start filling in that budget. And so the cool thing is as we've grown, things have gotten cheaper per agent per month. So for our big vendors like Lofty, who I just saw pop up, and other companies, we have tiered pricing. So as we've gotten bigger, our price per agent has gone down, right? So we may pay X amount when we have 1,000 agents and another amount when we have 3,000 agents. And so what that does when that price goes down is it opens up a budget for yet another benefit. And so we've just slowly been filling it out. There will be a time, probably by the end of the year, we have over 100 benefits, and still be within our budget, which is crazy to me that we've been able to accomplish that. But it's not easy, Sarah. What's not easy? Once you have it set up, it's not easy to maintain. But yeah, carefully.
Josh, along those lines, we're going to assume, just from me running lab kits and being involved with other agents for a while, that one of the core pieces to agents loving the things that you offer for free is a CRM. So Lofty, let's just assume that's the case, because they always ask, oh, what's your CRM? What do you have? Lofty's awesome. Thanks for adding that. What other 2 or 3 things have you noticed that people absolutely love, that you're like, wow, that's interesting. I didn't expect that, or maybe you did. What are they?
Okay, so our benefit that gets made fun of the most by other brokerages is actually our most popular benefit, which is so crazy. It's the car wash benefit. It's just so unique, it was like our very first benefit, unlimited car washes. It's not a big benefit, usually when another brokerage is kind of mocking us, say, oh, the place, the free car washes, but they're leaving out the free health care and the free prescriptions and the free child care and the elder care and the free signs and photography that we do and all these other add-ons that are really substantial to your business and really save you real money. But I will say the car wash is by our most used and most just loved. I actually have shirts made for our last event, PowerCon. It's like, I'm just here for the free car washes.
That's cool, man.
So we kind of lean into that. It's funny, it's quirky, and it's something we kind of embrace the quirkiness of. But I will say probably the things like the listing billboards and that make us unique, the healthcare, the free prescriptions, the fact that your whole family is covered with things like free roadside assistance, because who's not in their car all the time if you're a busy agent, and it covers you, your children, anyone driving in your household, all of your cars, So hearing these kind of cool stories of, we have one agent, her husband and her they've been trying to get pregnant. And there's a prescription she needs in order to get pregnant, and they just couldn't afford it. And so it was part of our free prescription program, and now she's pregnant. There's going to be a whole generation of human beings that will walk this earth based on that one benefit that we offer. We've had stories from agents who've told us like, hey, my dog was sick. I didn't know if I should take him to the emergency vet, which is like an hour away. So I was just going to wait it out to the morning, but I decided to open the free AirVet app that you guys provide and talk to a vet 24/7. And the vet's like, no, you need to go now. Don't wait until the morning. And because of that, their dog's alive. Like, because by the time they got to the vet's like, no, if you waited till the morning, your dog would have been dead. Like, it's so good that you came in. And so like these stories of like saving somebody's dog's life or helping them, have a baby, or, they were stranded on the side of the road and they got roadside assistance. All these little stories we hear every single day. And it creates this kind of cool thing that we know that we're doing something right because we're effectively changing people's lives and their careers. I had an agent reach out to me about 3 weeks ago who told me that he was afraid of getting a listing. And he told me, I'm not afraid of business, I'm not afraid of success or anything, but I couldn't afford the signs and I couldn't afford the photographer. And I couldn't give my clients the marketing they needed. And to be able to do that for $0, to get a client and be able to hire a professional photographer for $0, being able to get signs and posts installed for $0, and being able to put the listing on a billboard, to be able to put an ad on Facebook for free for the listing with our free ads that we wrote for listings, just really made it to where he could just get business without worrying about being out of pocket, before it even goes live. You guys know, we all know, you're spending, thousands of dollars not knowing if the home will even sell. But being able to offload that expense to your broker means that if the home doesn't sell, you're not out any money, for one. But for two, you can take on as many listings as you want and not have to worry about the upfront cost. And so to kind of see that change people's lives, to change stuff for them, their kids, it really is kind of crazy. It's kind of
I love your answer. Yeah. I love that because you're really showing that you're focusing more on the agent piece, right? That's really cool. I like that approach. All right, so now let's shift a little bit because it's getting a little tougher for some agents in some parts of the country, right? How are you guys showing up for those agents? Anything that you're doing extra for them, or noticing that maybe you have to just jump on a call more with them? How are you showing up? Because they're struggling.
We're literally giving them business. So we provided millions of leads last year. And I think we increased our agents' GCI across the country by 7 million, 8 million. And this year alone, we've increased agent GCI by 10 million. And it's through the, procurement of leads. And we don't charge anything for that, by the way. We don't charge an extra split. We don't charge anything extra per month. We also started a relationship with realty.com. Lance has been a great person to cooperate with on that, where all of our agents get buyer and seller leads completely for free. There's no additional splits, nothing. They just claim leads and they get business. And that we will probably by the end of this year, be it 20 or 30 million, we've increased our agents GCI, their commission by, which is just crazy. So what we're doing is we're trying to target, like you're saying, these areas where people are kind of struggling because there's new rules. I don't know if you know about New York, but they have this new rule. It's just insane where, now you don't have to pay the broker's fee unless you hired the broker. It's happening all over. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to double down on the leads in those areas to try to just literally funnel people to our agents. If they're struggling and we're focusing on it. We're looking at reports all the time saying who's struggling, where's business kind of dropping off in real estate, and how can we support those agents. So it's agents don't need a bunch of bullet points on a website. They don't need a bunch of motivation. They're entrepreneurs. You know what they need? Business. They need money. They need to sell homes. And that kind of practical idea about how can we support agents means how can we save money? How can we get them more business? Because that's what they're focused on. And so some of this kind of like talk from brokerages where it's like, oh, we have the culture, all that's great. But you know what agents need? Cashola, man. They need to pay their bills. And so we have not forgotten that. We have a great culture and we're very supportive people. But at the same time, we recognize that this is a business and these are entrepreneurs and they need help. And so we're here to do what we can to help them for sure.
I like that. All right. Anything in closing, Robert? Or
the only thing I would add is, the only thing I would piggyback on that is, where we're different is that instead of focusing on more and more transactions, we focus on maximizing revenue per sale, especially in markets where transactions are down, which if you just look at nationwide statistics, we've been at historic lows for the last 3 years in a row. So if your whole business model is around just doing more and more transactions, you may succeed and you may be a rare exception, but you're swimming against the current. And if you're working harder than ever to get homes sold and you're providing more value to your clients, why not make more per sale? So last month, we were proud that although I can't give specific commissions, our average commission was nearly twice market average. So our agents are making more per transaction. So they're getting paid their worth, which is really important to us. And that's where we're different.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great approach. And there's a lot of little levers that we can all pull to kind of help, and getting a bigger slice of the pie or making the pie bigger, whatever we could do is very, And we do focus on transactions. I think we are, for 2024, the average Epic agent sells 3 to 4 times more homes than any other cloud brokerage, which is crazy to me and awesome. But I love that idea of helping them increase more of their revenue from that. Yeah. So
I love that. Josh, thanks for doing this, man. I think you're building something really amazing. Great job. I love you and your team, and I love what you guys have built. Keep growing and keep showing up, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for showing up.
Thanks, guys.